you can go dive, you can go poke your composition. We've even seen a bit of brawl from certain teams in OWCS so far.
All right, well, as we get in here, our first map is going to be Sanctum. Timeless, having picked up Riker for this extended Swiss stage. They're going to be on the Ramatra comp here early. And TSM are actually hovering Icy on the Mauga. I'm not 100% sure that's what we're going to see, but actually with King and Rocket on the May and the Venture, I wouldn't be surprised. It looks like they're going to come out on that.
It's interesting, a double flex DPS composition King, TP at a spawn, staying in the Venture, and here we'll see an immediate move to Mega from Icy.
All right, so first map here is going to be Nepal Sanctum. TSM holding this Mega side, the coast side, as they wait for their team to group up to start an engagement. And there's Icy running right in, trying to take care of the Lucio. King jumps up there to take down Lucamino. Going to fall there early is the Lucio, so there's very little of that maneuverability here for Timeless, who are just going to go over to this point to try and pressure it, but King going to throw Doomed back in left. Very, very low. Doomed going to be able to clean that up, but Riker not going to be able to peek out for too much longer. Doomed trying to chase down this Mauga, going to take out Icy as well. So TSM did end up finding the first flip, but Timeless is the one that takes the first fight.
This is going to be a matter of distance. How effectively can TSM close the distance to Timeless? Timeless playing the more so default Ash Tracer composition, and now they're going to hold close.
All right, here we go. The wall is out from a Rocket. King has to go into the ground, getting pressured a little bit by Doom. Going to pop out, but Lucamino going to be the first one to drop Rocket with that boop. And it's just quick cleanups here for Timeless as they're looking pretty confident.
The immortality there in that fight from Squid, really, really, really effective. I think the sustainability of Timeless's composition into this, it's just a matter of getting through the CDs, right? Timeless are going to use everything, or TSM are going to use everything all at once, and then Timeless have to use everything to live. Lucamino has the beat, Vision has the bob. It's going to be hard to push this as TSM. They really only have Rocket's freeze here to work with.
Here we go, Doom with the pulse bomb in the pocket, looking for it. Forces the ice block out, but receives a headshot, has to use a recall early. Knows that the May does not have that defensive cooldown anymore. And there's the big stake, but unfortunately it's on the King, who was on their way into the dirt. The Bob is out from Vision. It's going to go down, but the damage has already been done as Squid turns around, takes down King, and Timeless is looking great here on Sanctum.
Ult rotation, difficult to deal with there, but you look at that, 4 ultimates used in that fight. Only Riker's annihilation here. Lep has the beat. I expect TSM to take this fight really, really fast, really aggressive. And they really have to, right? They need to win this fight, and then from there, they can start to build a bit of a better ult economy going forward. They have to be careful not to use too much of that.
All right, Timeless at 90%. They need one more fight. They're just going to back down here. They know that TSM has that advantage in the ultimates, but Icy just takes a boatload of damage, has to run away, uses that charge early, and now they are looking a little worse for where the cage fight comes out, as the sound barrier does as well to try and keep Icy in this fight. But this annihilation it's too much for Icy to deal with. They cannot rip through that damage reduction. And now at 99%, especially now that Lep is dead and buried, Vision, it takes over on the point. Doom cleans it up, and Timeless dominates here on Nepal Sanctum.
There we go. We see that default composition come out on top. TSM's Mauga May variant wasn't working out too well. What I noticed from how Timeless is playing this is they set the rem very, very close, hold very, very close. And this is really good because they're trying to bait these cooldowns early, trying to get the May wall. They're trying to get the Mauga charge out, the E out, right? You're trying to drain the resources, and then you're using that really long bridge sight line. You're going to kite that and kite that and kite that. That way, TSM can't shove them into their own spawn kind of area room, right? So here, same Mauga composition from TSM. Timeless gonna stick with the same composition as well.
All right. No changes here for either team. Icy getting aggro, wants to keep Riker back for, you know, a little while longer as these teams just begin poking here early. A little wall to deny Riker from pushing out to try and jump on this team who doesn't have a tank right now. Riker is so far away from the rest of Timeless. I mean, they're doing a good job at trying to keep it in check, but with Squid going down here early, it's going to be rough to see Timeless take this fight, as TSM going to take this first fight.
Like we talked about last map, it's all about distance, and this map has a bit less of it. And because TSM get the first cap, they can kind of define where these engagements occur, and it's going to be up to Timeless to force themselves through some difficult chokes, right? So if TSM can stay on top of it with scouting, they can shut Timeless down. No ultimates in play for this fight, so I feel that TSM really do have the advantage. They can define where these fights happen.
All right, a little bit of poke out here from King, and Rocket gonna clean up all that damage. You see that Riker has needed to use that Nemesis form if they even wanted to have a chance to stay alive, and they just gotta back up without that player. Doom walks over to the point. Gonna pull down Lep there, gonna grab the health pack as Timeless from the high ground going to stay here. The ice block forced by a Rocket. Renko has the Kitsune Rush ready to go, uses the cleanse to keep Rocket alive, and it does exactly what they needed to. Icy though in the backline, low and now dead, but it's a trade of tanks here. This Kitsune Rush could keep them going forever, but without King in the fight, it's gonna be rough. They keep trading back and forth. Doom on the point was able to find the flip there to pressure them back, but you know, this is a really tight fight here. Scrappy fight between both of these teams. Icy returns to the fight here as Doom from the high ground tries to find something going. Barrage gonna come out in a great cleanse to keep King alive there through that barrage. Doom gonna be able to track them down. Now the sound barrier out from Lep in the face of Bob. Rocket going to use the Blizzard, going to freeze up Riker, who is going to go down, but so too does Lep. The flip gonna come back through thanks to the hands of Bob. The cleanse comes out and Rocket does not have the ice block any longer, and now that Timeless has the point, have the picks, they can take a breath.
Timeless, they played that very well. Can tell to make up for the fact that they can't really force through the choke and win that direct fight. They're gonna send Doom to force the point, and then they can walk out from there. Now it's up to TSM to attack here. They don't really have the same option. They can win a straight up frontline battle, but Timeless now, they have a bit more space to work with. Vision has more room. Doomed also has the pulse here. Could go into play.
All right. Pulse Bomb is out, does not find a target here. But Squid, very low, has to use the Immortality Field early, but Icy just runs in, across the face of that Amplification Matrix. There is a trade, but it's not one that you're super happy to take, and now that King is dead, the hopes of TSM in this fight are dead as well.
Forced to reset. Lucmino has the beat. Riker has the annihilation. You can take this fight pretty aggressive if you're Timeless, and you can also deal with the cage with that beat. Here, TSM probably looking just to rotate point, and Rocket also very close to the freeze. Here's the rotation and the wall.
All right, they're going to rotate over the point. 90% now for Timeless as Bob comes in, but Riker's pummeled down Rinko already. Bob going to get evaporated by Icy on this Malga, who has the cage fight just about ready to go, but I mean, there's just too much damage and not enough healing for the Malga. Icy is dead. Lep follows in suit, and Timeless gonna win out here on Nepal. Very convincingly over TSM.
Timeless, an impressive first map, running pretty much what we've seen from most North American teams so far. The Ram, Ashe, Tracer, right? Very popular on Nepal as well, and they executed it perfectly. I mean, really, again, I can't stress this enough. How they played Sanctum was perfect, right? Because I think the mistake a lot of teams will make is that they'll set their Ramattra up further back because they think, okay, we're baiting the Malga. We're baiting. We're trying to bring him in, so we're going to put our Ramattra further back. And instead, what Timeless realized is that if they put their Ramattra further up and they're able to use the form to sustain, then they can bait every cooldown, right? And as long as Timeless's supports play correctly and the Ashe has a good angle and you can just pressure that, it's going to be really hard for TSM to take any space or shove that composition, right? So I think that's a really good understanding of the macro and also the matchup with the Malga composition, right? Because they definitely adapted how they played their Ramatra composition specifically to beat the Malga. They played it very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, the Malga combat feels like you have to get a quick kill, right? And with the exception of the first fight there on Sanctum, they just didn't do it, right? Because the survivability of that Malga since his cardiac overdrive got nerfed, you have to rely on that 4 seconds of cardiac overdrive to find something. And time after time, Icy just couldn't get it done on the Malga. It felt like, you know, like you said, Timeless was playing around those cooldowns from TSM perfectly. But having said that, map number 2 here selected by Timeless, this is going to be a really, really different matchup here.
This is going to be interesting. Most likely a dive versus dive. I think the question is, will we see Winston or Diva, right? Because this has been a back and forth between teams, which one to run. Often depends on the tank player here. And we'll see what the teams pull out. I personally am a Winston believer, but obviously different teams run different things. You see it basically both in every region, Korea, North America, EMEA. So we'll see, but it looks like the Winston angle from both teams here.
Yeah, I mean, not much of a difference here with the exception of Vision and Rocket being on, you know, 2 different heroes. You know, Vision on that Ashe, who has been like very, very strong and probably is, you know, the pick for the little more defensive comp is, you know, they are on the defense first. And Rocket, we know Rocket. Rocket's a great tracer, right? Didn't really get to show off that much there on Nepal. So I'm really interested. TSM, we're seeing, you know, a different side of both of these teams. So this will be a very, very interesting matchup here as we get into Para-ESO map number 2. Here we go. It is a dive matchup here. They're just waiting, posturing, trying to find something going, but Icy just takes so much damage. No chance to jump in immediately, and Squid is able to take down Rocket. Just like that, the dive is foiled.
That is a very, very quick early kill. And also you have to think about this. There's going to be a lot of pressure in King, right? And really, Timeless's composition is just about pressuring. It's just about raw pressure, right? It's not a very aggressive composition, but the moment that TSM enter their space, they have to deal with the angles. They have to shut down one. Here's the jump.
And it's a nice little boop there by Lucamino, who keeps Icy away, burned down by Vision there. And I mean, it's just one pick at a time for this Timeless squad.
Right, Rocket now in the back line. TSM gonna reset. Vision playing a little further back. It looks like Timeless are gonna take this fight slightly slower. Ooh. There's a kill from King.
All right, good King able to get the Echo diff early, and Icy as well somewhere in that backline top, going to be able to take it down. Squid early, and now down 2 immediately. TSM are finally going to be able to take their space as Timeless awaits a re-engage.
I think really Timeless misjudged that. Vision playing further back while Squid is still far up. I mean, your Ana's postured a little bit too far up. The Bob is available for Vision here. A recontest is possible. Here's the jump in from Riker.
Riker in. Can they take down King? They can't. The nano boost onto Icy, who is going to jump in here. And now, the dupe, everything from both these teams being used to try and win this fight out convincingly, but nobody has fallen. That is until Riker falls down to left. Rocket has this pulse bomb ready to go. Won't even, use it, but not on that Ana, as Rocket was able to take down the Ana beforehand. But with King going down, there's nobody to help Rocket out here. Now both of the rallies have been used asleep there onto Luke Mino, but Doom is able to focus down Rocket early. Vision gonna be able to rip Renko's head off, and TSM looked like they had it for a second, but a great re-engage from Timeless.
The contest there was good. It was patient. It was very well played. Lep also just a little late on the rally there. I feel if Lep was able to play more aggressive earlier on with a rally, that might have been winnable for TSM, but I think they also kind of overstepped King. Got a little too greedy with the copy. Here's Icy with the first soft jumped. Just a bit of a soft engage here.
Riker jumps in for the counter dive, and the nano boost is going to go on to Doomed. They want to find something, and that will probably be it. No, King able to fly away, get away from the threat that is doomed for a little bit. Now Icy going to jump back in, try to find something. Rocket has to use the recall early. There's no mega health pack there, so they can't get back in as fast as they would like. You see Icy has this Primal Rage ready to go should they need it, you know, to stay alive or whatever. But Rocket falls again. Now the jump in from Icy, who gets slept. Can King get rid of someone? No. Doomed is going to get cleaned up by Renko. Now the Primal Rage by Icy to keep them in this fight. There's no sleep in hand for this Ana over here. Now the Nano Boost onto Icy to try and clean up this backline. Can they get the job done? No, because Riker comes in with a Primal Rage of their own and taking a lot of damage from Rocket on this off angle. Gonna jump right back on to Icy, but Luke Mino has fallen. Riker follows in turn left, able to take down 2, but Doomed uses the duplicate onto the Winston here as overtime begins. The duplicate going to fade away, and it's not going to be enough to keep Timeless in this fight as TSM finally going to be able to take A.
Very, very close. Squid dangerously close to the Nano, and Luke Mino also had the rally coming up. I feel like it was a few seconds away. Again, a bit of an ultimate difference. Timeless unable to make an effective re-engage there. Too much pressure. King has the copy here. Rocket has the pulse as well. The pulse, best target here is probably Luke Mino. If you can hit vision, it's quite good as well. Really, any of the backline targets, all of them have their ultimates. It's extremely valuable. So Rocket has an important role here in this fight.
I mean, the ultimate advantage is definitely in Timeless's favor at the moment. You can see it's just a posturing game, waiting for the opportunity from TSM, waiting to find their chance to go. Squid has this Nano Boost, and the pulse bomb from Rocket didn't hit anybody but didn't hit anybody that we thought it would. But I mean, Riker is as good a pick as you can get. King's duplicate going to fade away immediately. Nice little sleep there to help take down King. And I mean, Doomed is looking absolutely maniacal onto this Echo right now, able to take down 2. And I mean, that's more than enough for Timeless to stabilize.
He wants more. There's another. Lep's gone. It looks like Timeless are just going to clean up here, get a bit of poke, and then back off. A mistake I'm noticing from Riker is that he tends to kind of start a bit early and then get naded very, very early on. It's a bit of a, maybe a bad habit. It's just a little awkward at times, but that's what we saw last fight. But Doomed did turn it around. Icy now has the Primal as well, so could see a bit of a more aggressive engage. You have Renko has the Nano as well. Maybe just going to farm Nano here. It looks like TSM just going to play this slow. Played very, very patient. If needed, Vision can bob the cart here. Probably just going to be a Bob Nano Winston trade. Rocket playing slow under, farming that Nano. 90% now. Very, very slow game. 25 seconds left on the clock.
Rocket gonna head in here, try and put some pressure onto Doomed, who just, you know, casually going to fly away here. These ultimates coming up very, very soon, and there is the Primal Rage. Renko not quite built up to the Nano Boost. But once that Primal Rage is over, you know that Renko is going to be looking for it. A nice little anti there on to Squid, but not able to follow up on it. Bob going to enter the fray here. Renko needs to hit that Nano. Icy is the target, of course. Now overtime begins for TSM on their attack. Doom's duplicate going to fade away, but neither team now has the Winston in play. King going to receive a couple of those sticky grenades from Doomed, but will be able to stay alive in the face of it. Rocket's pulse bomb not going to be able to find that Echo there. Going to get antied up here, has to play safe, has to use the recall way earlier, and that is a massive anti-grenade by Renko to put TSM ahead. The rally, just an insurance measure, a 2 versus 5 for Timeless. Riker wants to keep it going with the Primal Rage, but an anti, asleep, that's a nightmare as King uses the duplicate just to make sure. And TSM finally going to be able to cap out B.
Riker gave up Timeless's ult advantage going into the next fight. It's quite unfortunate. Luke Mino does have the rally, but you can't exactly immediately push off. They have to be really careful, have to take care of the nades as well. Speaking of nades, Renko's nade in the previous fight was defining alongside Lep's rally. Now, both teams playing slow. Just going to push the cart. Timeless. Remember, they have to play defensive. They're still in Ash Echo. They're not going to make the first move here.
All right, Icy going to jump up to the high ground. Gets a little bit distracted by the coach gun there, but Riker just barely able to get away from the pressure of TSM. You see Rocket 90% of this pulse bomb, wants to build up to that here very, very quickly. Has to drop back down because of the pressure from Doomed, who is going to fly away, throw out those sticky grenades. A nice little anti there onto Icy. Able to stay alive, play those corners. Now the nano boost on it to the Winston into the backline. Luke Mino has this rally up, trying to stay alive, doing more than enough for that, but Icy now has the Primal Rage ready to go, and now it is on to the backline, and I mean, trying to take down Doom there, who does end up getting that nano boost from Squid, and now that Bob is in the fray, this is going to be a very, very rough fight. A significant amount of damage gone for the side of TSM, and almost all of their healing gone as well. It's up to this Tracer in Rocket to keep this going. Icy joins the fight, but it's not going to be enough. It is a 2 versus 5 the other way here for this fight, as TSM are going to lose out here on point C.
Timeless holding on third. Strategy there on the third point was to set Doom on the right side, hold that angle, while Vision, rest of the core on a brig, played on the left, and those angles worked quite well. Riker did get a little aggressive at times, but it worked out. Riker was able to live, and that's good. I feel like the previous point, it was brutal having Riker die with Primal. But now, we'll see what Timeless has to offer here on attack. I'm interested to see. I mean, I would honestly expect Vision to run the Tracer here. It's very, very difficult without the Tracer. You can do it, but you really can't use the far right coast angle if you don't have a Tracer, right? So that angle becomes pretty much useless to you, right? And you're kind of forcing through main. It can work, though, because Bob is a powerful ultimate when you're attacking this point. So we'll see, but it looks like Vision in Tracer on spawn, at least. And that's expect.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ashe right now overall, but I do definitely think when you're trying to run that heavy dive comp that both these teams are, happy to run here on Paraiso. I mean, the Ashe is more defensive, the Tracer more offensive, a little faster, little more synergy with the Winston, of course. But I mean, Doomed was a menace on that defense. Really put Timeless in a great position to win this map. However, TSM, this is also a winnable position for them. They need to lock down this Timeless squad here. 58 meters is all that they have to give there on point C. So as we get in to Timeless's attack, TSM know what they have to do. It's just a bit of a poke battle here early for these teams, as Vision walks over to the point to put a little bit of pressure, as there is the engagement here from Riker early, but able to take down Doomed is King here early. A great early pick that we didn't see a lot of there on the last round, and able to jump away is Riker, but the fight's already over.
Bit difficult. Doomed attempting to kite out TSM's counter engagement. Didn't work out. Both Winstons around 40%, about even on ultimates, both sides. And now it looks like Rocket's going to force point, and we're probably going to see an engage from Timeless as well.
There it is, Rocket trying to keep Vision in check, able to push that Tracer back as Doom looks for the pick onto King, but another massive anti from Renko. I mean, a two-piece there for that one. Squid gets burned down by King, rather, but I mean, a great anti there by Renko.
Great anti, good follow-up from King. King had the fly available, didn't waste it early on, so allows for that. Very well played. Riker staggered. That's tragic, honestly. That's going to be probably 15 seconds off of Timeless's total bank here, and now Rocket also close to the pulse. You have to look out for that here. In this next fight, Vision also approaching it. Probably going to be another Tracer duel on the left, I expect it. Vision going to try and force again.
Here we go, King. Vision up there trying to get in there onto the point, but King and Rocket doing a great job at denying the pressure. You see Doomed gonna fly up to try and find something, but these TSM players are playing these safe angles, just waiting for Timeless to come to them. They know that they're defending. They don't have to overextend themselves here. There's a little bit of pressure onto the point there, as a nice little sleep there on to the Echo. King will fall because of it. Now the Primal Rage out from Icy to try and keep TSM in this fight. It will do enough, especially as Rocket gets the better of the Tracer duo. Both rallies going to be able to find something as the Pulse Bomb from Rocket only going to find the shield. The shield will break. Luke Mino all alone on the point, trying to help with the Winston back here. Shield bashes away as Riker was able to take down Lep in the backline, and now it's Riker versus Renko, and that is a fight that I always favor towards Riker. Now Icy so damn low, doesn't have any supports, has to jump away as the duplicate going to come out from King to try and keep TSM in this fight. A minute on the clock here as TSM decide this isn't worth it. We're gonna back up and try and re-engage.
TSM, no ultimates available. This is very, very difficult to take. Looks like Icy is going to look for it immediately dead. Honestly, yeah. I feel like this is just charging Timeless's ult bank. This is not a fight you want to take, and that's going to give Timeless a bit of free space here. Like it's going to be a late stagger on a King.
Yeah, just some great staggers here late for Timeless as they just push TSM back into their own spawn.
We saw a support masterclass from Timeless there as well. Squid, very, very impressive sleep, followed by Luke Mino as a one-man army, keeping Squid alive through Icy's Primal, and now see both teams playing it slow. Rocket maybe looking for a pulse onto the Winston. There it is.
And gonna get it. That's a lot of damage, and Riker falls early. King cleans up the damage from the pulse bomb. Rocket knows that there's a Tracer behind that cart, gonna push Vision back, and you know, without their Winston, Timeless is just not going to do anything but escape.
Jumping without the nano there was a risky play. I feel like that was a very greedy soft engage, right? Looking to bait cooldowns, but ending up losing the fight immediately by default, right? And now looks like Timeless are just going to force through main. We're going to see the nano come out in a moment.
All right, you know, Riker looking for that engagement. 2 minutes on the clock, but it's actually going to be onto Doomed, and both Echoes are going to receive the nano from their Anas. Rocket now trying to pressure the backline of Timeless here as the jump back in comes from Icy. Both Primal Rages are going to be used here as able to live as Icy through that focusing beam. Trying to keep themselves alive back up so that they can have one more fight, but Doom going to have this Primal Rage, going to put a lot of pressure on this backline, and as Rocket falls, there's not a chance for TSM to take a proper fight here.
What a sleep there onto Icy as well. It's pretty much an immediate fight when there's the cap. 3 minutes for Timeless to take this third point. They have plenty of time. Vision has the pulse going into this next fight. King and Rocket have their ultimates as well. Obviously, a bit of an advantage for TSM, but not major. This will be quite the interesting fight. TSM and Timeless pretty much even. Yes.
All right, here we go. Coming up on the very end, Timeless can see that golden box. They want to go and move to 9-1 here. They're just posturing, waiting. They know that they don't, have to do anything as long as TSM is giving them this space. Now the jump going to come in from Riker, immediately going to disengage, just trying to force it out as the pulse bomb from Vision takes down Icy early, and everything is falling apart for TSM. Rocket trying to take care of Vision on the cart. 1.8 meters left, but it's Doomed that takes down Rocket, and Doomed is the player here to watch, taking down everybody and their mother, and they don't need that entire time bank as Timeless just walk right past TSM.
Timeless once again living on to create a legacy, defeating TSM, defeating their own previous org.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure who this is the revenge game for, but Timeless gets the better of it, right?
Timeless prevents the revenge. You see, my brain is working all over the place. It's going all over the place. Quite an entertaining match, though. Really enjoyed the Echo Tracer on a Brigmere. Very interesting to see the nanos go on to the Echo. I feel like that allows you to kind of burst backline targets easier, right? But it does put your Winston in a position where they are a bit vulnerable. I do think it's really, really good to do that, though, if your Winston is primal, right? Because your Winston can just full commit, doesn't have to worry about it. You nano your Echo, and you can burst the Brig, burst the Ana, and you can make that work, right? And another factor you can consider as well with that is you you can build the copy faster, and if you nano your echo's 80%, and then you just build the copy, and then you copy Winston, you keep going. That kind of a pressure is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, Doomed absolutely took over there on Perry, so that was a crazy Echo performance overall. But great job from everybody on Timeless to, like I said, walk past TSM. They didn't really make it look that hard, right? I mean, Timeless, you talked about it. They were ready for everything that TSM was going to throw at them, including the Malga, which we don't see a lot of right now, right? It's a lot of that Ramatra composition that we see. And the Malga, when I first saw it, I didn't like it all that much. Timeless kind of proved me right. Playing around that high damage composition, and then in the dive comp, it was a little closer, the dive mirror, right? But at the end of the day, it was Timeless who just managed everything just like a little bit better, and sometimes that's all you need.
The Malga was interesting, but I agree. I think Timeless, they managed it well, and I would assume that they expected the Malga, right? Because you also have to think the scrim environment in NA is a bit unique in the sense that it's very limited, especially considering how big of a region it is. There really aren't many good teams that you can scrim, right? And like Toronto probably doesn't even want to scrim half the teams in the region anyways. I kind of doubt they would scrim. Maybe they'd scrim Timeless or TSM, but even then it might just be a solid 6-0 of a scrim, right? So it's a bit difficult in that sense. I think these teams have played against each other several times before this match, right? And you don't know who you're going up against in Swiss. So I almost guarantee Timeless knew what they were up against. And that's also why they probably knew how they wanted to play, right? And that really, really showed first map. And second map, dive mirror. A dive mirror is a dive mirror, and they just played it better.
I agree, right? I mean, that's why you pick Paraiso, right? None of the other hybrid maps are really conducive to, super fast dive comps. And it's not a map that we see, and I can't imagine it's a map that a lot of teams scrim. So it was really just an Uno reverse card from a Timeless, but you know what? They moved to 9-1, OC. And that will conclude our coverage of round 10 here. As you can see in the top right, 4 matches remain as we get ready to close out the Swiss stages here in stage 3. We got one more round after this, so stick around. It's going to be a lot of fun.